impossible to describe this place. It's an experience. You have to experience the MorYork Gallery. You have to come in and walk through it and experience it. There's no way to describe it to people.
It grows in this place, and it grows from the ceiling, and it comes up from the floors. And the environment makes it happen, and him being in here makes it happen.
I always felt like I was an explorer with the camera in here, like being in a jungle and partying the branches and finding things.
He says if he doesn't have at least 1,000 of something, it's of no value to him.
But for me, when I walk in here, it's almost like he's teasing out the mysteries of life. I mean, there are so many things between these artifacts and these natural wonders, these relics that you're around, and the relationship between them.
It's an oasis. It's a feeling of utter peace when I walk in here. It's like no other place I've ever been.
I've always been fascinated by bones. When I was very young, my grandparents gave me a roll-top desk that had dozens of little cubby holes and nicks and nooks and crannies that you could put stuff in. So I would bury my pet's bones in the backyard, and then after a couple of years, dig them up, clean off the bones, and put them in a drawer. From when I was probably 8 years old, I've sort of been attached to bones, both as a memento mori of an animal's life, but as a wondrous kind of object that you start building form with. This location is 7,000 square feet, so it's a large studio space, and it's chock-a-block with sources of inspiration, things I collect to make into art, other people's art. So it's this vast hodgepodge, sort of a wonderama of very many things. Everybody who walks in has a different impression of what it is. So what I did for the show at CAFAM is to engage 12 photographers as artists who are tasked with representing their portrait of MorYork. I was extremely surprised when we looked through about 1,200 images that made the final cut from all the photographers, that they are widely divergent in what they chose to focus on.
I know this space so well, and I feel like I've been so intimate with it, that it's been interesting to see everybody's perspective. I decided to just really document this space, to show the beauty of the object, what it evokes in me, and the relationship between things.
I don't think I can really add to it. I think I can put my own emotions into it, into what I'm seeing, and bring some of the mood that I feel when I come in here. I can convey that. It feels like one living, breathing environment all the time that is very beautiful and harmonious and peaceful.
I shoot photographs a lot, and I make movies a lot. So how do I contain that, bring that motion to the piece that I was going to do? And that's how I came up with the idea to do a flip book. It was really cool and inspiring seeing Clare light up. It seemed like he was really excited to interact with something. I think he likes that idea of utilizing multiple senses.
Oh, it's another lenticular. Oh, but this is 3D. I myself love many little pieces of things, like the teddy bear eyes, like, you know, hundreds of them. I wasn't maybe as aware of his work in the beginning. It was just the place and all the things together. It's like a very kind of ecstatic feeling of one thing after another that's very visually exciting. And then it seems like lately he's been prolific.
As an artist, my principal means of sourcing material is not the expected route of art supply stores, but it's swap meets, thrift stores, garage sales, secondary markets, recycling centers. I've used about 13.5 million pop tops from soda cans and beer cans, bottle caps, tin can lids. Almost every yard sale I go to, there is a Scrabble game, Jello molds, various bits and pieces that over a 15, 20-year period, you can accumulate an incredible number of them. I got about 3,200 rosaries, but it took about probably 17 or 18 years to get that many that I made into a big lighted tower. So obviously material collection and the whole process is part of making the art or the craft or assembling these things. And back behind the shelves, there's endless file boxes filled with collections that are still ongoing, that I just haven't reached a threshold of numbers yet to pull them out and do something with all the pieces.
Like a lot of people, I'd heard about there's something cool going on behind that big green building that everybody thinks is a church. And one day I saw the strange gate out in front and I said, I think there's an artist back there. One of the inspirations for the project was there was a tag on a drawer that said musical saw. And for some reason it was hilarious for me to open up the drawer and see the musical saw in there. And that moment kind of stuck with me, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna find the best tags, the best things. The realization is in that box is monkeys or whatever, you know, it's something, you know, something crazy, and it's a whole box of it. It's not like one, it's like tons of it. Bamboo skewers, carnival milk bottles, poodles and miscellaneous, hair rollers. There's just so much stuff, and it's endless, and it's perfectly organized and easily accessible and, you know, very efficient. And it's kind of Claire's brain in a way.
And I'm a magpie. I collect a lot of different things for different reasons. Part of what I'm fascinated with by almost all the materials I work with is the patina that something accumulates over the life of it as an object or a participant in the world. Each one of these things is one of those objects that, if you could read the DNA of it, starts telling these vast worlds of stories and background. And all the materials I use, since they are mostly recycled, like pop tops, game pieces, human molars, what I'm seeking to do is pull things out of that chain of deterioration, give them a little bit of life so that their existence is prolonged and other people would appreciate them as an object rather than seeing them just as a recycling material that goes to the dump. A space like this tends to morph on a daily or certainly weekly basis, where as I finish things, they have to find a space, and that causes a domino effect of other things moving out of the way or becoming the background now for something new, so that every time somebody comes, there is a certain percentage that is new that they haven't seen in that way.
He has a stone, I think it's a small millstone, grinding stone with a large hole in it. So one day I looked through the hole of the stone and there was one of his creations with yarn and string through the hole. And so I thought that was kind of neat, so I photographed that, and then one of the other times I came back, I looked through the hole and there was a torso of a woman. But then I also like the singular objects that he's collected. A lot of things that are one of a kind. And I'll tell people, well, if you've been to the Smithsonian, this is going to be the same as the Smithsonian. The only difference with the Smithsonian and this is you can touch this and don't try it in the Smithsonian. This is not only in North America, it's in the United States, and it's in Highland Park, and it's here, and you can go see it.
3D would come closer to giving you the feel of the real place, the way things are in space. When you shoot 3D, you see details that you often don't see in a two-dimensional photograph. And this place is all about the detail. There doesn't seem to be anything that isn't possible when it's filtered through Clare. It excites them, and the more sort of tricky or challenging it is, the more the gears start rolling, and he seems to love it, love the idea behind it.
Clare is probably one of the most inspirational people I've ever met. He's been the catalyst for a lot of great things in my own photography career, pushing me to do things I didn't think I wanted to do.
There's that step that happens from something being unreal and imaginary in your head to something being plausible. And he is that step in a lot of times. Like, his attitude and the way he is takes something from being a pipe dream to being possible.